Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Mississauga Local podcast. I'm your host, Roger Tumminieri, and with me is Martin Reid, Councillor, Mississauga Ward 9.
Nailed
welcome.
it.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, man. It's my pleasure to be here. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's great for you to be here too. And we chatted a little bit outside, and I was intrigued by your background,
Sure,
but
yeah.
most importantly, your role as a city councillor. Can you tell our audience a little bit about what inspired you to run for local politics?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah. So Martin Reid, city councillor for Meadowvale, Central Air Mills, and I've lived in this area my whole life. And I found out that the city councillor, the current councillor at the time, was retiring. So through some conversations with her, I asked her to mentor me. So it was a time of going and knocking on doors, but also going to every town hall and seniors meeting, the planning and development committee meeting, following her for almost 2 years, long before the campaign even started, and then knocking on doors and doing that. So I was able to get that endorsement. But growing up in this area, that was the thing I think was a selling pitch for people to say, I'm not parachuting in to serve this community because there's a job vacancy.
Yeah.
I actually love this community, and it's not a stepping stone for me. I'm not trying to be mayor or premier one day. I just want to authentically serve my community. And it's not a consolation prize. People had ran provincially and lost, and now they're running because they're looking for a job. No, I'm just here because I want to serve my community. And that resonated with people. And, being a small business owner as well, being in social work, I just ticked a bunch of boxes that just made sense for people. And I'm so grateful to be here.
Can I ask you what the most rewarding thing about being a city councillor is?
There's quite a few things, but the most rewarding is just seeing how you can make a decision at the council level and it just has such a massive impact in people's lives. Yeah. For example, the B3 funding framework is something at the regional appeal. I'm a Mississauga council, but also a regional councillor. So we do this funding framework where we're helping amplify Black-owned, Black-led, and Black-serving businesses and giving them micro grants so they can kind of get that step up to be able to help them push their business forward, or supporting our seniors when there's a crisis in the area. We had an eviction by Chartwell, not to hate on Chartwell, but they sold the building and kicked out a bunch of seniors. So we weren't too impressed with that. But how do we support them, right? And just being there for the neighborhood and just allowing them to navigate collectively something that is troubling for them. So supporting our seniors, our young people, our racialized communities have been, and people, small businesses as well, nonprofits. It's been fun. Just absolutely loving it, and every opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. I'm down. So,
no, that's great. And there must be some challenges though that come with the job.
Absolutely. People don't like bike lanes, for example.
Fair.
I ride my bike to work, and do things like that. But some people just really don't really hate them. So we've inherited pilot projects and navigating how people address balancing it with the cycling community that wants it, and then people who love their cars who don't want it. So the challenge is navigating change, right? So change management is the name of the game.
A lot of people don't like change.
Right.
They're afraid of change.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Fortunately, I have a background in counseling, so I like listening to people and just hearing people's stories. So even if they don't agree with me, at least they'll feel like they were heard and their voice was taken into account. And I like to do that and let people feel like their voice does matter, even if the outcome isn't the one they like. So that's very important for me in this role.
Yeah. No, that's really key. So you got 2 years left in your term?
26.
One more year,
yeah, this
right?
is my last summer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, before we got to start grinding again, knocking on doors.
I was going to ask, are you going to run again?
Absolutely.
Good, man.
Absolutely.
Good.
And it's one of those things the late Hazel McCallion said, you start campaigning the day after you win the election. Right. So I've been on the campaign trail in terms of just being visible in the community, still knocking on doors, still being out there at events like stuff like this tonight to support our business community as well as our individual residents.
And I think just this will help.
Yeah, 100%.
Just in terms of being out there and visible within the community, the Mississauga Local podcast as we launch it. Yeah, it's an honor to have you on. And
everyone's loving this, by the way. You're doing a great job. People come out, this is awesome. Yeah. You got to come and do your podcast.
Yeah, right.
Yes, kudos to the background staff there as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for saying that. Yeah, and it's fascinating to speak with a city councillor, but specifically in Mississauga because the issues in Mississauga differ from those in other municipalities in Ontario.
Right.
So are there things that are specific to Mississauga that you're dealing with that they might not be dealing with in Toronto or Scarborough or other municipalities?
That's a great question because on one level, the biggest issues in Mississauga are countrywide issues.
Okay.
Auto theft,
Yeah.
homelessness, housing prices. That's a countrywide thing.
Yeah.
So you say, well, Mississauga has car theft problems. Like, well, no, actually Canada has car theft problems. So there's that side of it. But then Mississauga is also part of the region of Peel. So as a municipality, Peel is Mississauga, Brampton, and Caledon. There's things that are unique to that as a lower tier municipality that Toronto or even Hamilton, they could deal with things kind of more quickly because you're not navigating the needs of 3 cities at the same time.
Right.
Right. So that's the unique thing. That's the nuance to it. Like we have the same problems everywhere else, but like the way we deal with it isn't as agile sometimes. And it creates some friction, whether it's a police budget or a development decision. There's some friction because there's different needs because each city and town is at a different place in their development.
Yeah. If you could list the number one concern of your constituents, what would that be?
They would probably say community safety.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm always on this topic of community safety and well-being. We rolled out a new framework at the Region of Peel, which informs how we police and how the hospitals work and how the city deals with, matters to do with the wellness of the city. So people are concerned about, how safe the roads are. There's speeding on the roads, the auto theft is a thing, carjackings, theft from businesses is major, even though it doesn't get a lot of media attention. So people are concerned about all those things. And it's like, how do we cultivate a greater sense of community where people are getting out of their homes and going to parks and going to events, meeting their neighbors, so that they're more invested collectively in their community. So that's really the strategy I'm going with. And we try to animate our spaces. We try to have lots of fun events over the summer for parents to get out with their kids. I try and get to events like tonight, meet cool people like you, and it's like, let's keep it going. So, yeah. No,
that's great to hear. I think coming out of COVID, I know we're out of it for a couple of years, but I think it's still up here for a lot of people.
It is.
And people tend to be a little bit more hesitant or skittish to be out in person with people and go to in-person events.
Yeah. Well, we played, we both talked about our sport background off camera here, and I played flag football till COVID. My team hasn't even got back together.
Really?
COVID, so
it just killed it.
It just killed it. So how much more a senior who was going out for lawn bowling or bocce ball or, they stop and then they never get back into it. So I feel like myself as a counselor in partnership with our city teams, we're doing a fishing event, for example, in a couple of weeks, where now you could sign out your fishing rod from the library and go out to Lake Aquitaine that they've stocked with trout so people can go and fish. And then we did a disc golf course on the back end of the field of the lake where no one ever goes. We made a big deal out of it. We had vendors come out and I got printed Reid for Ward 9 Frisbees that people have branded Frisbees for free. Now they can sign those Frisbees out from the library too. So we're doing things like that. We're getting people to book picnic tables in the park. So if you live in the condo, you can come down to a birthday party for your kids in the park. That's where we get people out and moving again and getting engaged with their community.
Yeah, libraries and parks tend to be somewhat underutilized, but they're wonderful community assets.
Right. Yeah. Loving it, man.
That's great. I love your passion for the community.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Just flows out of you.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
My
it's
wife's
wonderful.
you're so alive in this role.
Oh, yeah. It's you're meant to do it.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like it's a calling. Thank you.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. So for the folks watching or listening to this podcast who want to get in touch with you, maybe they have questions or they just want to reach out, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
I'm going to give you a long answer for that.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So Reid for Ward 9 is my handles on everything. So if you want to see where I'm doing, where I'm at, but ward9.ca is the website for the ward.
Okay.
When Pat Sato, the past councillor, was here back in the day, there'd just be a Mississauga News and then you could find everything out in one place. But now everyone's on different channels. They're on X or they're on Instagram. So it's tough to let people know that all these things are happening.
Yep.
So just go to ward9.ca. Sign up for the newsletter and you'll find out everything that's happening in your community, how you can be a part of it. If you're a business owner and you see that we're doing a community safety workshop and you say, well, hey, I want to come out to that, or we're doing something for seniors and you do reverse mortgages and you want to educate people on the benefits of that, we'll do that. Let us know. We'll have you part of our world and we'll amplify the work that you're doing on our social media and our newsletters. ward9.ca.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Councillor, for joining us. And thank you guys for joining us here on the Mississauga Local podcast. We'll see you next time.